Okay, today is Tuesday, October 9th. It's 9 o'clock p.m. As we all know, Safeway violated the contract. Okay, we all know that for a fact. There's no doubt about that. They didn't work me first, grieve later. We know that the dispatcher used his key to change the time on my logs. We know that the company time clock has no time card. And we know that they didn't pay me for December 7, 2010, and it doesn't even show me there. And he took the time when I clocked in late on the company time clock at 11:15. How they found that out or showed or anything else without a time card, I don't know. But the fact is, if it didn't show it on December 7, 2010, how did it show it on December 15, 2010? I don't know, unless they made it up or put it there, but one doesn't match the other. And there's no time card. And they don't pay for the difference of miles when they pick you up, and they don't pay you from the tractor to the time clock when the 395.15 and the interpretation says you are not to be detained from going home. But they have a company policy that you clock out on the company time clock. Now, we know all that, and we also know they have a no-fault attendance policy. And we also know I got wrote up in 2010 or at the end of 2009 for being late or missing a day, whatever. No-fault attendance policy. Now we know all that. So, all this time, I'm trying to get a hearing aid, and they won't let me go to a doctor. They keep canceling it. So on the 31st, I can't get a treating physician. I've been trying since 2009 because one reason or another, it doesn't matter. This is my third request. So we're going to court for that. And I'm going to file a request for dispute resolution before the administrative director. DWCAD 10133.55. The reason being, I received a letter on September 29, 2012. It's from Safeway. It says, Dear Mr. Zamora, attached for your review and completion is the notice of offer of regular work. DWCAD 10118. Please be advised that absent your termination from your employment, based on the QME report from Dr. Pornoff, your employer is able to offer you regular work. Please call your attorney for additional questions. Well, what I did was I called Mike Sadler about their offer of work, and he didn't return my call. So then I went to the union and seen Mr. Nicewanger, and it was the first he heard of that. So he kicked it back to Workman's Comp. Now, it was a notice of offer of regular work for the 10 o'clock in the morning Eureka run. Okay, 14 hours. I was spent overnight in Eureka, and I come back. So, anyway, I never got the phone call, so I figured that's the second time they refused to put me back to work. And as far as being absent of termination, that could either mean that there is no termination or I wasn't working. But I was working. So it couldn't be that because I was working in 2010. I made $40,000 to $50,000. I don't want to repeat myself, but I probably just did. In any event, it must be absent from the termination. There was no termination because they didn't respond within 10 days. And you're supposed to work first, grieve later. When I came in on December 7th, they just sent me home, okay? And I should make a point, one point. If they don't send a file agreements within 10 days, they're supposed to put you back to work with all back pay and benefits, just like they do for 1,500 Teamsters at Safeway Distribution Center in Tracy, California, okay? And 400 truck drivers. If it's not within 10 days, they put them back to work, okay? Back pay and benefits. Now, the shop steward knows this, and that's what they do. If you don't file agreements within 10 days for discharges and suspensions, you're to be put back to work. Well, they didn't do that for me, but they did it for 1,500 other Teamsters. Why?
I don't know. That question yet to be answered.
Well, I talked to Nice Wanderer, and he booted it back to Workman's Comp, so that's fine. They said absent from termination. I made $40,000 to $50,000 that year. So, and I worked, and I sent the payroll and the trip sheets to my attorney. And I'm going to bring the W-2 form to court, and I also have a weekly report of payroll documentation. There's a problem with this. Absent. I wasn't absent for my termination anyway. And the point I'm trying to make is your employer is able to offer you regular work. Well, I called Mike Sadler. He never returned my call. I went to the union, and they kicked it to Workman's Comp, so I'm assuming that they refused to return me to work or honor the notice of offer of work on 10/3/2012. Okay, now, put that in the back of your mind, what that letter said. Now I got another letter here, October 4th. Now, remember what I said. I made $40,000 to $50,000 that year, but yet they said I was absent from termination. Wonderful. I
should note that they could have meant that there was no termination because they didn't work me first or grieve later, and they didn't respond within 10 days, like they do for 1,500 other Teamsters and put them back to work.
Anyway, I had to see them try to prove that I wasn't working. Anyway, long story short, I got another letter, October 4th, 2012. And then it says amended. This one is really good. You got to listen to this. Dear Mr. Zamora, enclosed is a notice of offer of regular work, DWCAD 10118. 10118, okay? Please be advised that absent your termination, here we go again, of employment on 12/16/2010. Now, if you remember on 12/7/2010, they sent me home and took my security badge. I'm not allowed on the property. Okay? And now he writes this amended letter here saying, absent your termination on 12/16/2010 from Safeway, based upon the panel qualified medical report from Dr. Pornoff, you could have returned to regular work. He said that's what Pornoff said. I could have returned to regular work. And then he said I was absent 12/16 when they filed a grievance on 12/17 that I was fired.
And I should note that I wasn't fired on 12/7/2010. I was working. They tried to send me a letter that I was discharged on 12/6/2010, but it's hogwash. It doesn't mean a thing because they didn't file within 10 days. Like they do for 1,500 other teams to put them back to work with back pay and benefits. And I should get 14 hours a day. Anybody that works underneath me in seniority, like with a 24-hour operation, 7 days a week, somebody is working. I got 200 employees underneath me, and I should be working, and I'm not. And I noted on the first letter, the offer of work, they should have put me to work. I put down a 10 o'clock start Eureka run, but I never got an answer from Mike Sadler. And the union just kicked it back to the Workmen's Comp. And I should note that I tried to get arbitration, but the union said it's a Workman Comp issue. We don't, in other words, they don't handle disability. Even though they said they would look into the fact that I should get a hearing aid, they would look into it. That was never done. So now I was fluffed off to the Workman's Comp. And now they take this letter and they amended it, trying to get out of paying me my back pay from December 7, 2010, 14 hours a day for every day that I didn't work. Okay, because it's a 24-hour operation, 7 days a week. Anybody that works underneath me, works before me, they need to pay me for that day. So that's 7 days a week. And I put on the notice of offer of work that I want the 10 o'clock bid Eureka run overnighter. And they didn't call me. So they did it. They sent the second letter.
You know what? I don't know what to say here. You got two different letters here. And I got to say, one's within a week of each other. This one here is from James, AFFOLTER, WC Claims Supervisor. That's October 4th, 2010. He sent it. And his phone number is 925-469-7397. And it's a proof of service. Okay? And now, the other one, the one on September 29, 2012, this one here is sincerely Lorna, M-O-L-D-E-S, Claims Examiner 2. 209-833-4805. Okay? One right after another, and they're both misleading, and I'll let the judge decide if they're lying or not, if they're trying to be misleading. Okay? They're not being honest here, okay? So now you heard what I said about the letter on October 4th. It said, Dr. Pornoff, you could have returned to regular work. Okay, well, I got a report here from Dr. Pornoff. Ronald, P-O-R-T-N-O-F-F-E-D, Board Certified Orthopedic Surgeon, Qualified Medical Examiner, October 15, 2010. To Safeway Incorporated, Phoenix, Arizona, date evaluation October 13, 2010, employer Safeway. Date of injury, March 21st, 2009. Claim number 25009-25228. File number 91984-0. Okay, I'm going to just read the part what he says. And you heard what that other guy said, this guy, whoever he is, claims supervisor. You could have. Okay, you could have. And the other one said, I was absent from your termination of employment, and the employer is able to offer you regular work on, I received this on 10/3/2012, all right? Now I received this one on 10/9, and the story changes. You could have returned to regular work. Now I'm going to read you the report for Dr. Pornoff. It says, objective findings, subjective findings, apportionment. I'm going to read the pre-injury capacity loss. Okay, this is what it said. And you heard what they said, could have, right? And this here, I was supposed to return to work according to the QME report on 10/13/2010. They held it up for 2 months, and I received it on December 1st, 2010. I went to work on December 3rd, 2010. I was sent home on December 7th, 2010. They took my seniority badge and they didn't let me clock or log out. Okay? They escorted me to the gate, the shop steward. Now we know that. We know that's true in actual fact. Okay? Took my security badge, escorted me off the property. I'm not allowed to be back there. So an agreement was filed on December 7th. We won't go into that. I'm going to read this thing here so I don't get carried away. Examinee can perform most activities of daily living. He has some discomfort in the back with prolonged sitting, standing, walking, and driving his truck. Now, examinee can return to his usual and customary duties. Isn't that something? Does that sound like you could have returned to regular work? Or what's the other one say? Oh, this other one really gets me. Just a minute. I'll get this other one says, is able to offer you regular work, but you were absent from your termination. Yeah, I guess I was. They sent me home on December 7th, 2010, huh? And I had an FMLA, right? The shop steward escorted me off the property, right? Not telling me why or what. Contract says work first, grieve later. I don't know what to say.
And they didn't file within 10 days. They should have put me back to work like they do 1,500 other Teamsters. Mr. Nicewanger, the safety manager, and James Williams, the transportation manager, it's their responsibility. But they didn't do it. They didn't do anything. They didn't even give me a doctor when I was first hurt. I seen some technician. I mean, this whole thing goes, I haven't been paid by Safeway I got little money in 2009, but that's it from 2009, and this is 2012. I can't get a treating physician. Okay, I can't. They won't let me change, even though they say I have a chiropractor and he has no right to decide anything. You know, you can barely give me a referral, let alone acting like a doctor. So I asked for a doctor and they keep refusing me. Change of physician. Now, I don't know. You know, and then they take these words out of Dr. Perloff's statement and they twist them around. Now, I don't know if that's against the law. Okay, you heard what I read. Could have. That's not what he said. He didn't say could have. Okay, and it's supposed to be a notice of offer of work. I never seen nothing in the notice of offer of work says you could have, we're not going to work you. It didn't say anything like that. They made an agreement. Okay, on October 13, 2010. They held it up for 2 months and they sent it on December 1st. I went to work December 3rd. December 7th, they send me home. Not telling me why or putting anything in my hand or anything else. They just flat out send me home and strip me all of my medical and my lifetime medical that I paid for out of my pocket. They stripped me of that too. Yeah, it's not, I don't know. Anyway, I filed a resolution with the director and I hope he takes some action because nothing's been done since 3/21/2009, and nothing's been done for the notice of offer of work. And I was working, and then I lost my job because I got the notice of offer of work, guaranteed for 1 year. What kind of guarantee is that if you get an all notice of offer of work and they send you home? I don't understand that one.
But anyway, I got it all here, all documentation, and like I said, I asked for a request for dispute resolution before the administrative director. We're going to get this straightened out, but I don't know what to say, but I'm going to put this recording all over the world. This is really something. And
you know what? It's I'm going to put this recording all over the world if I can do it. If I can put it all in the newspapers, I will. Because Safeway is in violation of 132A, and I filed it 3 times. I also filed harassment, but I can't get it verified. Okay, and I filed for hearing impairment for hearing aids. They didn't do nothing about that, you know. And they're in violation of 132A. I filed 3 times, and now they changed the language in Dr. Pornoff's report. Because nobody, I haven't been corrected, so as far as I'm concerned, that's fraud. That's fraud. They took the words put the words in this notice offer in this letter and saying that he could have. That's not what Dr. Pornoff said. And whatever they're trying to do to keep me from honoring the notice of offer of work. So I stand to be corrected, but it looks to me like they just committed fraud. They need to put me back to work and find them guilty of 132A 3 times, okay? And increase my benefits and everything, give me back pay from December 7, 2010, 14 hours a day, 7 days a week. Because I have 200 employees underneath me, right? And anybody that works underneath me, I get paid for that day. That's the contract. I'm not making it up. Now, I've been sitting here since December 7, 2010, waiting to be called back to work, and nothing's happened. And a judge from Workmen's Comp suggested he put me back to work. The attorney came up and asked me how long I could work for. A lot of good that did. They didn't follow the administrative judge's decision, sent me to the lunchroom, and I was sent home. End of story. That's why I'm filing this resolution with the director at Workmen's Comp in Stockton, California.
They still refuse me to put me to work. Isn't that something? Huh? They've refused me 3 times. Huh? Once on 12/7/2010, and the other one on October 4th, 2012, and then again on September 29, 2012. 3 times. And the administrative judge suggested that they put me to work. And they asked me how long can I work for. And they didn't do it. You could say that was 14 times they denied notice of offer of regular work. So what are we going to do? We're going to request for dispute.
I don't mean 14 times. I mean at least 4 times. Okay? And you know what? If it's not within 10 days, they put you back to work with all back pay and benefits, just like they do 1,500 other Teamsters. Why not me?
Resolution before the administrative director. That's what we're going to do. And then I'll give you an update later on. Okay, today is Tuesday, October 9, 9:10 p.m. And I hope everybody out there wishes me luck. This is really live.
I'd like to say one thing. I have a court date,
Okay,
October 31st.
Today is...
And October 31st, I have a court date to try to get a treating physician. I have a severe profound hearing impairment, and FMLA says I have a serious health condition. I'm going to play this tape in court and see if I can get him back to work unless the director at Workmen's Comp in Stockton, California responds quickly and gets me back to work. They made an agreement. They're not keeping it. For whatever reason, I need to return to work. And so I'd just like everybody to know, who's ever interested, if I can get a little support from the public. October 31st, 2012, I would appreciate it. Some phone calls or something to enforce this notice of offer of work at Workmen's Comp. Had an agreement for Safeway, which they agreed to, and now they're not keeping their agreement. And I'm not being treated the same and equal and fair under the eyes of the law regarding they didn't respond within 10 days. They didn't put me back to work with all back pay and benefits like they do for 1,500 Teamsters. And this is Local 439 in Stockton, California, who hasn't lifted a hand or an eyebrow to support me or help me get back to work, even though they know the circumstances could lead to fraud or a misdemeanor offense regarding 132A. There's a good possibility. So, in all these statements that I'm making, I stand to be corrected since 3/21/2009, and nobody has corrected me, and I've had no response. And I still stand to be corrected. So today is Friday, October 12, 2012, and I hope I'm back to work before October 31st, 2012. I hope for the best. And your support would be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much.